right back here at 1014 in the heart of the River Bend on this third day of January and a really nice Tuesday. It's a little humid, though, outside, don't you?
It is. But it's nice. It's better than zero.
I have our sports reporter, Luis, was giving me all types of crap, Kevin, because he was in Puerto Rico with his family whenever it was, -9 outside,
Right,
and sending me the pictures of the temperature, and it's 85 degrees, and I just thought, it's coming. It's coming.
It is. You're right.
Well,
it's always fun.
it is. And Kevin Botterbush joins me now. Thank you so much for taking the time out.
Oh, glad to be here, CJ.
Well, and too, I mean, the start of the new year, people are already kind of making, goals for themselves, whether it's starting a new, maybe it's going on and, going to the gym more like I keep telling myself to do because, wind gust comes, Kevin, I'm in the river,
Right.
so I got to start putting some pounds on here. But, it's either that or, maybe a career path change. And I thought, well, what better time would it be to have the man that instructs the classes with the Southern Illinois Board of Realtors, correct?
Correct. It's Southwestern Illinois Board of Realtors.
Southwestern.
We just merged. We were two associations, and we merged as of December the 1st, and the new name is the Southwestern Illinois Board of Realtors.
And so what areas does that encompass pretty much everything around?
It pretty much encompasses from St. Clair County, a little bit further south down by Columbia, Waterloo, and then goes all the way up to almost to Carlinville. So it's a huge area that we cover now.
That's incredible. And how long have you been doing these with the board?
I've been teaching for the association for about 25 years.
Oh, so you know a thing or two about these
bit.
classes, huh?
I've been in the real estate business for about 36 years.
And I got to ask you, because people are, griping a little bit because I'm starting to just kind of peeking my head out and seeing what's there. But, we did a realty segment on a show I used to be a part of. And, the realtor there would say, well, interest rates are going back up, but compared to where they used to be, they're still lower. Are we at that point now, or are they gone back up to normal?
No, they're when you think about what is normal, okay?
Gotcha.
That's a big issue. What is normal? When I got started in this business 36 years ago, interest rates were probably around 15%.
Wow.
Okay. And then they dropped back in the early 90s, they dropped down to below 10%. And then they kept on going down. But say to 2000, they got down to that 5 to 6%.
Right.
Right. And then after 2008, to get the housing market to build up again after the crash, the Federal Reserve kept on lowering the discount rate, and they buy bonds. So one of the things that we misunderstand about, we hear that the Fed is increasing interest rates. Well, it's not mortgage rates that they increase. It's the discount rate that they charge the member banks. That affects your credit cards. That affects your car payments. Wow. Well, the way they affect the interest rates for you and I for mortgages is the bond market. So they buy up bonds. And so after 2008, the Federal Reserve started buying up bonds to about $86 billion a month.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
And what that does is, since it's a relationship between the price of a bond and how much the return is, it drove down the price, we drove up the price of a bond, drove down the yield. Interest rates follow the yield. Interest rates went down to about 3%, maybe a little bit less. And that was all done to encourage the real estate market to rebound. Because what we know is that the real estate market's a big market. It affects every business out there. Excuse me, every business. So if we want GE to make more refrigerators and more toasters and more whatever, then the real estate market has to come back.
Right.
Because people buy houses and they buy these things. They go and buy a John Deere lawnmower. Well, John Deere doesn't need to make lawnmowers if people don't have homes. And so all of that was to bring the market back.
Wow.
And so even though today interest rates are hovering around 6%, it's not terrible.
Right.
It could be a lot worse. And so is it normal? Well, once again, what is normal? Is it a decent rate? It's still historically cheap. We're still below about 1960 level.
Wow.
Okay, so when you look at what you're paying in interest rates today, it's about what your parents paid in the 60s. And so, no, it's not bad at all.
Well, and see, that's why I had to. And by the way, that was incredible. I don't prepare people with questions. I just kind of threw that on you, Kev. And I can tell why you teach this class, because that was pretty by the book and pretty informative there. But it's such an interesting topic, and nonetheless. But I get off topic all the time, so you got to wrangle me in.
So
you got to wrangle me in, But take us through. Let's circle back to your classes. What are some of because I think that's what the biggest thing is to talk about today and getting that career path started. If someone's interested, and everyone always says they know a realtor, but some realtors don't, train the right way, the proper way with the right people and take the, the correct, with the right instructors, right? Because it's all
Correct.
about who teaches you too.
It is.
Take us through your guys' process, how people can sign up and what you guys do a little bit differently to prepare the prospective students.
Well, what we do to prepare you is we teach you not just how to pass the state exam,
Okay.
but we also teach you the real estate business. How can you go in and talk to your client about the sale of their home or the purchase of a home if you don't understand the business in general? Mm-hmm. And so we try to teach you that, gives you the background that you need. We're a knowledge-based business, and so people want your knowledge. So when we hear things on the news, like we were watching the news earlier,
Right.
We've heard the last couple of days about new state laws that went into effect, and there's several that affect real estate. People want to know, how does that affect our transaction?
Gotcha.
And we train you for that. We teach you for that. We don't teach you just how to pass the state exam. So that's a big difference between our course and other courses.
You're actually going to learn something in your course, because it does seem like that, where a lot of these courses, they just kind of get people in, get them out, and take their money. You guys really do a great job of, from all the reviews I've read, of really making this an intensive course.
It is, and that's what we want. We want you to understand the business. Now, when you go to work for your broker, whoever you work for, they're going to train you how they want you to do certain things. They're going to train you about their policies and procedures. But some of this, we all should be doing the exact same way. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're trying to teach everybody. And so we have a lot of classes starting. So we have one class that starts this Saturday, actually.
Oh, wow. So you're starting right off, aren't you?
That's right. We're hitting the road running right after the first of the year. But this is a Saturday course, and it's a very popular course. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of people that can't come in during the day, during the week. We have folks that can't come in the evening, but they can come in on Saturday. It's an all-day course, so it starts at 9 o'clock. Mm-hmm. It will be in Glen Carbon, and it runs to about March the 11th, I think it is. So by March, you've completed the entire program.
Wow.
And so that's just one course. And then we have another course, and this will be in our Shiloh office. We have two offices right now, one in Shiloh,
right,
and then one in Glen Carbon because of the merger. And so we have another course that will be on Mondays, and that starts a week from yesterday night.
Nice.
That course is an all-day course as well. Starts at 9, goes to 4:30. Once again, ends in March. And then the other class is an evening course, Tuesday, Thursday. And that course runs from the 17th of January to sometime in March as well.
So you're telling me, not to make light of this, but in 2 months, really, or 2 to 3 months, if you not, every day, but if you break it down, 2 to 3 months, you can have your own new career starting, or just getting that foundation laid.
Definitely. And
with the right person to kind of lay that out. I mean, to me, I was listening, and because I do a lot of research when I bring guests on and kind of see where things are at. But I mean, there has not been one bad thing said about your guys' classes. I mean,
we appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. But I mean, you guys do such a great job. And I mean, because we all hear about the horror stories of some of the buying and selling process with realtors, and sometimes they aren't really prepared as they should be if they're just fresh off the out of college or out of their courses and they're getting into it. What have you kind of seen in your experience with doing this class? In terms of just, starting off and some of the things you prevent from happening, because I'm sure you've seen a plethora of things and heard of so many stories. And how do you guys kind of take those stories and turn them over into your class to prevent some of these things from happening?
One thing is misunderstanding.
Oh.
The public doesn't understand why we do the things that we do.
Right.
We have a lot of rules and regulations that we have to follow. And sometimes we hear, well, that doesn't make sense. Why do I have to do that? What's the law? It's very simple. And so when we explain it to people, and that's what we try to understand or try to teach people to do, explain things. Take time to sit down with your client, talk to them about the process so they understand. So they understand those things that we do. And then the other thing that I do is I bring in real life stories. As I tell my students, I don't have to make them up yet. And so the stories I tell.
I didn't want to spit water on you. That's incredible.
The stories I tell, every one of them is true. And you'll be surprised what's happened over 36 years, the things that we've experienced. And then the things that, that students bring to me in class. And we start talking and they say, well, my agent didn't do that. Why not? Well, I really can't answer the question why not, but I can tell you what they should have done.
Got you.
And then they understand. So I actually have students to come in, not because they want to get their license, which is the best thing to do. They say, I want to buy a house. I want to buy a house.
Really cool.
And I want to know what it is, what I need to do, how to get started at that process, which is, for what it costs to do, that's a great experience. And then they realize when they leave the class, not only do they learn about real estate, but they also learn about things about life as well.
Because of all the stories and things, right?
Because of all the stories and how to take care of a house, the importance of maintaining the value of the property. Mm-hmm. They don't understand that. And so that's what we try to do. So it's a great time to get started right now.
It has to be. And take us through that. So it seems to me that there's different aspects of this class. It seems like there's open discussion in this a lot. There's a lot of, I'm sure, some presentations and some, structured coursework. But take us through that kind of in and out. Are we having a lot of discussion time? What's that look like?
We do both. So I start every day out. I always say, what's new? Okay?
Okay.
So what's new is for you to come into class, look at what's happening locally, regionally, and nationally that could affect the real estate business. Mm-hmm. There's things that go on right in our own communities that affect the real estate business.
Right.
Let's talk about those things. Let's find out what's going on. One of the areas, of course, I teach in is down in St. Clair County, and that's where Scott Air Force Base is.
Right.
Scott Air Force Base has over a $3 billion economic impact. Okay?
Oh.
So we talk about what is the Air Force doing? Boeing's building a new facility down at the airport. Mm-hmm. How does that affect the real estate business? It all affects the real estate business. And we take time, a little bit of time each day to talk about that. And then as we go through class, we tell the stories. I want your input. It's not just me. I look at my classes as a conversation like you and I are doing.
Right.
Not as just me setting up and lecturing, because that gets boring quick.
Right.
And so my classes, I always tell them, we're going to have fun. And so my goal is, by the time the class is over with, you guys don't want to leave. You want to stay here. You develop bonds with the other students in the class. We have, as you know, you follow me on Facebook.
Right.
We have my students friend me. We have Facebook pages just for each class a lot. And I don't set those up. They do.
That's incredible. That
They
shows
set
the
them up.
determination of the students, too.
It does.
Wow.
And so it's great. And then I'm the resource. So they know they can always call me. Hey, I have a question. I have a problem. Can you help me? I always make sure, did you talk to your managing broker first? Yeah, but he says, call Kevin, which is fine. I don't mind that. I like that, actually.
So you're in case of emergency, break glass and call Kevin.
I guess that's what it is. But it keeps me in contact with them, which I like to do. And then I love watching my students succeed. And so when I get to watch at the end of the year, I'm watching it right now on Facebook where they're posting stuff where they sold X. One of my students that lives up in Carlinville just posted that he's, $1 million a year. Well, great. I love seeing that.
Right. I mean, and that's incredible. And so take us through this. How can we register? How long is the wait process to kind of set up? What's the turnaround time here to get in one of your classes?
Okay. The get registered for the classes. One is just 618-692-8300 is the board office in Edwardsville.
Okay.
Or Glen Carbon. They can take care of everything for you to get you registered for these classes. You can register online as well. Unfortunately, with the new association, I'm not sure what their email address is now, but
I got you. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay, so but they can go online to the website and they can register online. But probably the easiest thing to do is just to call that number 692-8300, and they'll get you registered for the class. Once the class gets started, it's about 10 weeks for the course. Mm-hmm. Afterwards, I always encourage them to take a little time for study and prepare for that state exam. One of the things that everybody really just gets stressed out over is math. Don't.
All the time, yep.
There's 150 questions roughly on the state exam and 13 math questions. So it's not terrible.
Gotcha.
If you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide and use a calculator, you won't have any problem.
That's and see, that's what I think scares so many people is the numbers thing. Because if I see 6 figures, I'm going, oh my goodness, what am I doing?
It's easier, and I can guarantee you one thing that everybody out there can do is calculate their commission.
You're right. You are absolutely right about that.
Everybody wants that money, and if you can do that, you can do the rest of it.
Oh my goodness!
But afterwards, take a little time to study, and then take that state exam. And in this case, we're starting in January. By April, early May, they could be up and running. And for a little bit of money that they're going to have to spend, they have a complete inventory of thousands of properties to sell in the Metro East.
That is incredible. I mean, to me, this seems like really a great opportunity for so many people that are tired of that 9 to 5 constraint.
Well, it's said to be the best industry for people with families.
Because you can manage your own.
You can manage your own schedule. I did that. I mean, I have
Right.
3 kids now. They're all in college now, but when they were little, we have twins and stuff, so I could work my schedule around dropping them off at school, picking
Right.
them up at school. They'd actually go with me to closings. And
That's cool.
so they would actually one of the title companies, they knew where the candy storage was, and so they loved that. But then the staff would actually come out and bring coloring books out and sit there. I'm in a closing. It's like, I'll take them in with me. No, we'll stay out here. And it just they really enjoyed going to closings. And the interesting thing, CJ, is one of my daughter, daughter and 2 boys, she would go with me to class. She was 10 years old, and she went with me to class one day, and I was given a test. And the student says, "Well, give her the test." So I asked her if she wanted to take it. And she said, "Sure." So she took the test. And afterwards, the student said, "How did she do it?" And I said, "You don't want to know."
Oh, no. She aced it, didn't she?
She aced it.
Oh, that's
But,
incredible.
So if a 10-year-old can do this, okay, I mean, she aced that test.
Right.
Obviously she's heard me talk about this stuff for many years, but
Right.
it was fun, and the students loved that.
That is so cool. I got to ask you, we got a couple of minutes left, and all of your experience in selling houses and being in the realty game. What's one of the stories that you have that you always take with you of maybe a closing gone wrong, or just a house not being what you thought it was going to be that you had to turn over?
Oh, let's see here. What would be a good story to tell? God, there's so many out there.
I'm telling you.
Which one is, because there's so many that I might tell. One story I tell a lot is one of my clients was going to buy a lot, and the other agent involved spilled his guts about the seller. Told me all their personal issues and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
My job is to represent a client, just like an attorney represents a client.
Right.
And so he told me all this, and I told my client, I said, "This is what I found out." And I told him I thought we should make an offer. And my client saved over $50,000 on a house because the other agent told me things that they should have never told me. And so their client was harmed because of that. And that's sad because we don't like to see anybody hurt.
But right.
But I had to do my job as well.
Right.
And that's why it's so important to keep things confidential and for the training.
Oh my goodness.
Closings. I did have one funny story. One of my clients, I always tell my clients, don't talk to the people when they come to the house if you happen to be home.
Got you.
And so he said, okay. And so after everything was done, at closing, he says, "I don't know if I should meet the buyer or not." And I said, "Why not?" He says, "Well, remember you told me not to say anything?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, when they came to the house, they asked me some questions." And I said, "I don't know because I'm the cousin and I'm just here working."
Oh no.
I said, "Well, you're not going to talk to or meet that seller or buyer because you lied to them.
Right.
One little thing goes wrong, and they're going to say you lied."
Yep.
And so I had to come up with a good story. It's a family home. They're really upset, whatever.
Right.
So they didn't meet the buyer.
It circles back to what you said early on, being informative, being communicative with the client, and just being honest. I mean,
That's exactly right.
that is incredible. I got so many. I have to have you back on because we could
anytime.
talk about this forever.
We could have fun. I would enjoy it. So anytime you want me on, just holler.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you so much for your time. What was that phone number again?
It's 618-692-8300.
Awesome. 10:33. Olivia Levi joins us next with her new song, "Little Bird." We started off the show today with it instead of Gladys Knight. And we're going to hear all about how she developed this song and where you can listen to it all after this in Downtown Alton.